bird of prey. 5. El Karuga.
Qapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm needing new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Enterprise Wednesday for November 8th, 2023. Today we will be watching Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 25, Bounty. And Bounty originally aired May 14th, 2003. And back on May 14th, it actually was the same day as the last week's episode we watched, First Flight. They both aired the same night. But they were very different episodes. 47 Yorktown was first in the chat today at 10:44 a.m. Eastern Time. Says first and put in a tribble. Welcome, 47. John Araki was second and said, "What the deuce?" And John Araki with a 99-cent super poop super sticker. Thank you so much, John Araki. John Araki also says hashtag Crow Nurse and says it's 46 degrees in Karoga right now. And the Emperor is still not wearing any pants. And that is probably true. That was probably true at the time. And Yvette, using a 12-month membership super chat, says, "Good evening, Bird and everyone." And X's for hugs or kisses. Thank you. Hello to the lovely Yvette. Dan Ben likes this episode. Richie Poole says 4 Vicks and puts in 4 alpacas. John DeMarco says, "But more than that, I believe that I could see 5 people in the chat." And Richie Poole says, "There are 4 lights. And there are 4 alpacas." Gavin Blackburn, Qapla Gavin, says Jill sent me over. Qapla Gavin, and anyone else who may have stumbled in from the first ever Anti-Derivative Jill members live stream. I was there. I was part of it. An entire stream of antiderivative Jill on camera. It's very cool. Thank you for coming, Gavin. Sci-Fi Mombi says Qapla, Berto Pray 5, Qapla, Sci-Fi Mombi. 47 Yorktown says hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Again. And I put the link if you want to watch today's episode of Enterprise. You can head to the screening room where the episode will start in a couple of minutes. And you can watch it there. Otherwise, if you have your own copy of the episode on Blu-ray or DVD, or you have a streaming service that plays it, you can go ahead and get it up and ready to go. It's season 2, episode 25, Bounty. What were you saying, Mama Frey? You were just in a game with Joe?
Yeah.
From the I'm sorry to hear that. Mama Frey is playing Governor of Poker with some team members, but unfortunately, they both lost. Miss Lundell's groovy movie says Qapla, helping LDG find a desk should count toward me becoming a master warrior. Well, it certainly should count for something. I don't know about master warrior, but it should count for something. Bradley Briggs says, "Zup, y'all." Zup, Bradley. Schwario says, "We, the people." Captain Phantom Nerd says, hello, Captain. You were another person over there at Jill's stream. Schwario says, Vertebrae 5, Qapla Bird. Hope you and the other Oprays are doing well today. Thank you, Schwario. Sci-Fi Mombi puts up the live long and prospers. Dan Ben says hi. And LDG says howdy all. Dan Ben says, Vertebrae 5, what annoys me in this episode is Hoshi detects weapons fire on board, but in undiscovered country, they can only do that if the phaser is on vaporize. I think it's a little different, but we'll get to that part when we get to it. LDG says, I did find my desk. Thank you to Mr. Lundell. And he says, it's a desk worthy of the creator of Skynet. I think LDG is a little off his rocker. Says, Bird, I'll show you later. You are going to laugh. I probably will. And Admiral Teague is in the house with a $2 super sticker, super pair, saying cool. Thank you so much, Admiral Teague. And Dan Man says, I do like this episode. Okay. Well, that's all cool and whatnot. We'll get this episode going. Bradley Biggs says, episode 25, that be the 5th episode of a season these days. That would be the 5th episode. I think it would mean the 5th episode of season 5 these days, if we were lucky. LDG says, this episode rocks. Judgment Part 2. I suppose it does continue with the Klingon plot line. So it also got a reintroduction to the Tellarites, big important species in the Star Trek universe. Okay, let's go ahead. I'll head over to the screening room and we will count down and we will go from there. And then I will do my best to not fall asleep. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. Captain Starlock. They've been exploring an uninhabited planet. Captain and Trip are talking about rock climbing, and pilot sent a message and insisted on speaking with Captain Archer. It's the Tellarite ship. The T'Pol's mentioned the Tellarites. Where is T'Pol? Guy doesn't look too friendly. Like, Captain Scalar of the Tellarite mining, whatever. They're studying the planet. They want shore leave. Welcome, Admiral Teague.
Qapla, Hail Karoga.
Hail, Karoga. So this guy got pretty friendly right away.
He may need a sonic shower and a personal grooming device. He looks like he's been out here a long time.
Yeah.
Was this a desert planet?
I don't think so.
They're wearing their
That's
hot weather
Vulcan.
gear. If only someone like Neelix was around. Oh, wow. There is.
Dan Ben says Star Wars has more bounty hunters than Star Trek.
Yeah, but they just stand there and absorb blaster damage until they get a Beskar suit. So you go out on like 2 missions and then you're done. We're told the Mandalorian was the best. He absorbs like 75 shots per episode before it dawns on him that the suit will solve all his problems. Oh!
You would think you would have taken at least one security officer.
We've seen this race before,
alien.
haven't we? Are they in Journey to Babel?
Yes. The Tellarites are one of the founding members of the Federation.
It's been a long time, but my time is finally here. And I see my dream come alive at last. And I will touch the sky. And I'm not gonna hold me down no more. No, they're not gonna change my mind. 'Cause I got faith with the heart. Knowing where my heart will take me, I've got faith to believe I can do anything. I've got strength of the soul. No one's gonna bend or break me. I can reach any star. I've got faith. I got faith. Faith of the heart. Sorry, I just had to. I got swept up in that one.
Yeah, I understand. Happens to me
Nice.
quite a bit.
I was
Just
waving
have
my
to do
arms
it.
over my head the whole time. It's as fun as any Ozzy Osbourne song. Here we go.
So they picking up weapons fire. That's perfectly fine, Dan Ben, because I assume she was, sensors were searching.
They named this episode after Captain Kirk's stolen Klingon ship. Is it a coincidence, or does there something to do with that kind of meta going on in the episode?
It's very similar because this goes back to a Klingon plot line, and also,
Well, boy, she looks
spoiler
great.
alert, it's all the Klingons that are behind it.
Hey, you seem to be agreeing with me, right? They sort of swap a few traits between the Klingons and the Romulans, between TOS and TNG.
They have swapped some, but that was because I believe in Star Trek 3, it was originally supposed to be Romulans that they then changed to Klingons kind of last minute. And so
I had thought it was because they were going to use Worf, so they wanted to layer on some honorableness. But you had said that came later, so
yeah, no, that was Star Trek 6.
that's why I come here. Hey, what's going on? Keep my day job. Thank you, LDG.
Yeah,
giving to our
LDG with a
good friend.
$2 super chat.
This is my day job.
Miss Lundell says next time have a couple of heavily armed red shirts at the airlock.
I'll tell you what, LDG, if you give Bird of Prey 5 $10, I'll self kick.
Oh, don't. I mean,
Hey, it's
that's
$10.
not right.
I'll
That's
do
not
that
right.
to raise money for you. Hey, I'll go in the dunking booth for my pal Bird of Prey 5. Hi, Canadian Spider-Man. I was just looking at those tweets. They were very, very nice.
LDG says, no, you're not that bad.
Thanks, buddy. You're not that bad either.
That's some good high praise.
Oh no, I love LDG.
Hey, Canadian Spider-Man. Qapla.
I pretty much love everybody, especially this scene with T'Pol in the decontamination booth.
Ow.
I gotta say, that was amazing anticipatory stuff. They're maybe 25 years ahead by bathing them in the ultraviolet light as part of this to make the aesthetic pop more. I mean, no, it's a purple filter on the light, but I'm assuming that's what they're doing here, right?
I'm assuming. Really, the doctor doesn't want to be seen. He's the one who's always like saying, oh, sex is just, humans are over preoccupied.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't find myself over preoccupied with sex as I watch her slowly put this lotion on her body at all. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Her hair looks great. They finally just lost all wigs and artificial hair pieces for good. I could use some assistance too from T'Pol.
You would think that there would be robot arms.
That's true. That's weird. So what, do the Nobulans have sex through like a hole in a sheet? Like they're not comfortable being naked, but they have a lot of sex?
Uh-oh. She's getting a little Pon Farr-ish. I can see it in her.
Or is she reading emotion off of him because he's a sex machine?
Dan Van says, I've watched some YouTubers who say they don't find the actress sexy or attractive.
You have to stop watching that channel for people with visual impairments where they describe their own impressions of it, bro.
I don't think she's the sexiest, but
I do.
She's not ugly.
She's far from ugly.
She's clearly attractive by most definitions. She might not be for me. I'll grant you, I find a lot of other women more attractive, but she is an attractive woman.
I guess, different strokes for different folks. There's a lot of people out there, foaming at the mouth for the gorgeous Mary Wiseman, who, of course, plays the voluptuous Tilly. I've had to hear that from a bunch of people.
I'll be completely honest. Season 1 Tilly, I might have said is more attractive.
There's nothing wrong with season 1 Tilly. It's the
Season 1 Tilly, especially as Killy.
Well, yes, but the problem is when we see her as Tilly, they've used the creature makeup to put all that acne on her. No one has ready to explode zits in the same constellation for 10 weeks. They are on the edge of explosion. That is creature makeup. So what?
Speaking of people more attractive than
look, it's Antiderivative Joe.
Antiderivative Joe that is listening and driving on 2 devices. So I got the stream and the episode. Awesome. Now just drive safe.
Now,
Joe, drive safe, and thank you for bringing so many people from your
in the chat.
Your stream here. We got several people that followed us over from Antiderivative Jill's first member stream today.
Congratulations, Jill, and hopefully we'll be able to work something out schedule-wise for And the Children Shall Lead together next week. Where I'll be transporting to Jill's flagship.
Dan Ben, go ahead and post the link to your channel.
If Tellarites are founding Federation members, but there's no Federation yet, so that's why this guy's kind of got TBI about arresting a so-called would-be Federation captain. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, there is no Federation yet, so
right.
He's just he's a
free agent
bounty
from
hunter.
Right. His planet's fine. He's a jerk. And they're sending Archer to Star Trek 6 land, right?
Yep.
I hate the Klingons, Bird. Don't trust them.
Let you never can.
Let
you never
them
forgive
delete.
them for the death of your boy.
Never forgive them for the death of my boy.
And there's the link to Dan Ben's channel where he posts Star Trek videos. It's all about money. It's just business. Business is business.
Dan Ben's been hard at work. Dan Ben, you have a new subscriber. Congratulations. Doing all right, though. Beating the piss out of me. Well, Dan Ben, maybe you could come on Saving Star Trek and tell people a little about your videos. Follow me on Twitter, Admiral_Teague. We'll talk about it. So T'Pol's inhaled some Vulcan psilocybin. What did she drink something out of a pitcher plant or inhale some bad spores? Was the planet's irradiated? Why is she?
He doesn't understand or know about Pon Farr yet.
Oh, she's in Pon Farr. He needs to get out of there and let me in there. I'll take care of that. Yes, I may end up in sickbay too, having my bones fused back together because she's like 3 to 6 times stronger than me. But I like strong women. Never would it be said that I don't. Well, this guy's a Tellarite hand Solo, huh? He dumped his last prisoner at the first sign of an Imperial ship. Why wouldn't you just stun him again, Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Or at this point, just shoot him. If he can be dead.
That's true. He said dead or alive. That's like when I got to be on Pop Culture Breakdown. Before I fully formed on the pad, I was stunned several times. I awoke in the room from Dagger of the Mind in front of a monitor, and it was all over. A guy just dragged me out and threw me back on the transporter pad, sent me home. This guy's a pretty cool looking alien. Oh, look, he's watching my show. He's getting insulted and yelled at. Man, you do such a great job with the slideshow. It's perfectly aligned.
That other, the other bounty hunter, I believe, is Robert O'Reilly, who plays Gowron.
Radar? Radar? Oh, wait, Robert O'Reilly. Sorry. I think you meant
Plays
Radar O'Reilly.
Gowron in Next Gen and DS9.
If you catch briefly run show Briscoe County Jr., I believe you'll see Gowron on there without makeup. I like how this is like a reverse hijacking. It's like, I'm the pilot, you're the hijacker, or I'm the pilot, you're the prisoner, I have the weapon, you fly the plane. What do you have, a date tonight? You almost just got deleted and you're at least going to land.
Oh boy. Canadian Spider-Man says, all right, this is going full screen. If there's more to Paul. Well, there was more to Paul.
Is this the first time we established female Pon Farr?
It is the first female Pon Farr.
Yeah.
It was only supposed to be a male thing.
Well, you know, we're not going to tell Paul how to identify, but yeah, it certainly seems like they messed that one up, right? It's maybe an unnecessary plot twist.
Though, to be fair, they never said that it was only male. It just doesn't make sense.
It made a lot more sense that it was just males. Although, if you want to make it closer to, say, salmon, then yeah, that's everyone, right? I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that in less than one Vulcan lifetime, they went from it being witchcraft to every single person knew how to mind melt. That was a bad retcon.
The fastest slow ship ever built.
Reminds me of my first command, the Stargazer. She was an overworked and underpowered ship.
The network was upset when this episode didn't get better views. A sex crazed to Paul was a last resort attempt at gaining an audience. You have the cure in your pants. I don't know. It seems pretty illogical not to try, Doc.
No, but DePaul is thirsty, baby.
The only problem is that it's totally illogical for Phlox not to try.
I know. I'm losing respect for him the same way I lost it for Harry Kim when Seven was like, very well, remove your clothes. Let's begin coitus. And I was like, yeah, go Harry Kim. And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. I'm like, that's exactly what you need, though, you loser.
Let's hope they gave her chocolate. It's guacamole and broccoli, but it looks pretty good. Look at the way she's staring down Trip. Okay. This is fun. This is like a guy who's got like a kind of a like boy crazy high school girl. Like Dr. Phlox is stuck in that role.
LDG is saying with her Vulcan strength, she should have insisted.
She's at least 3 times stronger than him, because a half Vulcan Spock is 3 times stronger than Kirk. You have to assume he would be 5 or 6 times stronger, unless we're to assume that Spock's physique is all Vulcan and his mind alone is half human. We don't know how to slice that. I'm interested in what you think.
Yeah.
Spock is 3 times stronger than Kirk, right? Khan is 5 times stronger than Kirk. Is a real full-on Vulcan, say Serac, 6 times stronger than Kirk and twice as strong as Spock?
Nah, I think Spock got Vulcan body.
So Spock is like he's a specimen for a Vulcan, and all Vulcans are 3 times stronger. And he only thinks he's 3 times stronger than Kirk because Kirk is like 1.8 humans worth of strength. 1.8 strong humans worth of strength. That is one cool space station.
Dan Ben says the space station visited by the bounty hunter was a reuse of a Cardassian repair facility, and some noticeable ships are there.
That's an incredible memory and observation. Good one, Dan Ben. I guess it's Deep Space Nine. Dan Ben points out about the time that Spock just kind of smashed that computer monitor into like a flat little piece of styrofoam with his fist. Would you agree that Captain Kirk is pretty close to twice as strong as your average pretty strong human male too?
Yeah.
Just brute strength and brains. Look at all the wear on the ship. They've been watching Star Wars, huh? Yeah, if you're this guy's friend, kill him so the Klingons don't. It's time to start piping in the Pink Floyd, right?
The heat's unbearable. She's from
You're
a
Vulcan,
desert
yeah.
planet.
A desert planet with no oceans that still has a northern continent where people are different. It's very strange on Vulcan. I know when I go on vacation to Vulcan, I like to go to the northern continent, hang out with Tuvok's family for a little while. Now, I'm curious if you agree to this. Because Tuvok's on New Trek, right? We can assume that his wife was very happy until he returned from the Gamma Quadrant, and that his daughters were very upset to meet such a toxic and horrible man, correct?
I assume we'll
Yeah.
find out his wife remarried.
Oh,
In fact,
totally.
that his
In
wife
weeks.
turned out remarried a woman.
Well, that was already going on before he left, and he didn't know about it. So they celebrated him leave. They celebrated his leaving, and then they celebrated again when they thought he was dead. And
Yeah.
then they had a living wake for him where everyone acted inappropriately. And when he came back, everyone was fucking bummed out, especially his daughters, because they had been raised in a male-free environment and been able to really do something with their lives. And he came home and colonized the house, right?
Pretty much.
And remember, he conceals from Seven of Nine that her captain is not a racist, just so she can feel oppressed, because he's already told people that he was wrong to call her what he continues to call her after he sends a letter saying he won't call her that anymore.
And Dan Ben says, Phlox tells to follow the locking mechanism code. That's not the number sequence we see her trying to enter.
No kidding.
And LDGs is right there. He's unconscious. Do him.
I don't know if denobulins deploy while unconscious. Do humans kind of have to have some help and be a little bit awake? These are some of their best ever spacesuits.
She has a nice bum, Malcolm. Don't forget what you said.
We were there at Shuttle Pod 1 when you started talking to Trip about how much you stare at her ass on the bridge. She's felt that heat coming off your fucking limey eyes.
I've heard what you said.
You know, I don't know if it's if what LDG suggests is possible, but I'd be into an episode where she at least tried it though. Oh, there we go. She looks very nice running away. She looks good coming and going, huh, Bird?
Okay. Now they each shoot each other. So only one of them is awake.
I just want to say Chakotay would not have waited and tried to reason with her. Anytime Chakotay had problems with people, he just kind of looked at them for a second and then just like indifferently phases them. Like in Threshold. Still keeps getting worse all the time. Perhaps you feel you're being mistreated? I believe that could have cured her several times as a writer, but I'm glad these writers chose to keep her sick, scantily clad, and in a very damp set of underwear.
Dan Ben says some websites say they wouldn't change the amount of money given it's inconsistent with Klingon notions of honor. Well, I think some websites haven't watched Star Trek that long.
These are slightly renegade Klingons, and they have not been through the Romulan War, which I guess Star Trek now, in a meta sense, says increases their honor, right? Because they're at war for so long. They're only somewhat honorable in TOS. They're the more deceitful faction than the Romulans, and then that, of course, changes. And by the way, I'll just say, the most powerful submarines in the world are United States nuclear submarines. So if the Romulans have them, they're no worse than us. And I don't know if we're deceitful, right? The Romulans just had stealth tech like we do.
Read alert. Read.
That's a good episode. Little necessary roughness there by Bacula. Dan Ben has is saying that the Klingon ship is based on the small ship at the beginning of Broken Bow being a bigger version. Makes sense to me. The one thing I don't like about this show is that we kind of moved away from a ray for your phaser, and you just blow out a pulse like they do now in New Trek.
Yeah. Well, Klingons, they're disruptors, but
See, I prefer that than the JJ style Enterprise blowing out like 60 phaser bolts like at once, little blips of phaser bolt energy. LDG has a good point.
yeah, they've got escape pods, even in DS9.
They may not have a Klingon ship. Oh, there we go. Mayweather's gotten really good with that grappler, hasn't he? That looked great. That still looks great. Now, who hates themselves more, Phlox or her? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Jolene Blaylock has an innie. Gotta say, 3 shows in a row, they cranked out really, really, really interesting doctors. DS9, Voyager, and this. Except that we're broadcasting it in the clear.
Well, that was just all fun. No one will ever believe that next week 9/11 catches up to the Star Trek universe.
Yes, and we fall victim to the biggest mistake Hollywood writers can make, thinking that Hollywood can solve all our problems and make us feel better for a year. Although some of those episodes, I guess the one where they steal the warp core is really good.
Yvette says, thank you, Bird. I enjoyed that episode, and I wouldn't kick T'Pol out of bed. Dan Ben says, good episode. Bradley Briggs says, there's lots of great views in this episode.
I agree.
LDG says, thanks.
I was ready to
Thank
visit I was ready to visit the Silicon Valley. I mean, DePaul's. I thought DePaul's looked great in the half shirt. That's all I'm gonna say.
Indeed. Well, I'm exhausted and going to take a nap. So, Admiral, anything you want to bring up before we go?
Maybe tomorrow I'll be on. Let everyone check out the first couple episodes of Lawman Bass Reeves. I really, really enjoyed them. And I'll be back on Friday from about 5:30 till about Doomcock after Comic Relief Crusader. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming up. Thank you, everybody else, for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to take a nap, and I'll be up again later. So, Qapla All, Bird and panel.